to sit down with the women who always play a role in REO Speedwagon's legacy by supporting them on and off the stage. Joining me now are Kimmy and Daria. Thank you so much for joining me.
Our
Thank
pleasure.
you for having us.
Yes.
This is so magical.
I know, so much fun.
So
I
much
have
fun.
so many questions for you because you've probably been all over the world and seen so much. So I want to kick off by asking, what was it like touring with such an iconic band?
Well, I'll start. It sounds super ding-dang glamorous, but traveling on a bus with 5 old men and 1 bathroom.
Oh, no.
It's actually like a locker room, honestly.
It does not smell magical.
It does not.
It's really no one's dream come true.
Nobody's dream come
Gets you to
true.
point A to point B.
When an old man walks out in his pajamas.
Shield your eyes.
And now that we have that image in our heads, thank you
Be
for
grateful
that.
that there are pajamas. They're wandering about. No, I had a baby late in life, so he'll be at the show. He's about to turn 18. So when he was a baby, we had him in his crib in the back lounge.
Yeah.
And it really was a blessing, and we teased, but it sounds super glamorous, and for the most part, once you get to the places,
It's wonderful.
You're staying at lovely hotels, and,
Sure.
and you know people all over the country, so they get to come and you get to have a great time. But
And that's the best part, being able to go see the people we know in certain places.
All over the world,
But I
right?
tell people all the time, it's about planes, trains, and automobiles, hotel rooms, and airports. And it's wonderful to be out with Neil. I love it. I love being at the shows. But it's exhausting. It's hard work. I mean,
Right.
it's really hard work.
Yeah.
Sleeping on a bus is no piece of cake.
it's hard. My husband gets up he gets up super early. He has a collapsible fishing pole on the bus, and he just takes off, and I'll get up off the bus, and he's gone. He's fishing somewhere, and thank goodness they have the trackers now, because
right.
you find Bruce Hall, there's a body of water.
Yes.
He fishes. He is the fishing musician.
He's
and,
a fishing musician.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's always there, and then we all meet up. But we're so fortunate because we're best friends, and so we don't live in the same place, but we miss touring because we got to see each other a lot more.
Much more.
And, But our guys are on stage left, and we're together, and it's we have moments just where we look at each other and can't believe, and we're so lucky we were married to the ones we were.
I know, but we also have done a really good job of keeping in touch and going on vacations together.
We may accidentally go on a lot of cruises.
We may accidentally go on vacations.
What is the best cruise or vacation that you've ever been on?
Obviously we do the Disney cruising because Kimmie is Miss Disney Extraordinaire, just retired from the company after 31
Oh my gosh,
years?
congratulations.
30 years.
On my 30th
years.
company, I have what we call magical issues. So if
Yes.
you're going to have issues, I really recommend magical ones.
Those are the best kind to have.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
so
like.
we do go on the correct term is the Disney cruise. We call it the Mickey boat, and we go on the Mickey boat
we go on
together.
the Mickey boat.
Whenever we can, and it's just like magical.
It's relaxing and wonderful.
Thank goodness our best friends Neil and Daria
Yes.
Right.
absolutely love it too.
Yeah.
Right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I've actually gone on Disney cruises without taking children. So
well, I feel like that, then you can do whatever you want. Because
Exactly.
you worked at Epcot, right?
Yeah, for 17 years of my career.
So that's my favorite park. And yes, it's fun to go with my nieces and stuff like that. But when I just go with my husband, it's like we could kind of
what
do
you
the
want.
drinking around the world or the adult things,
right.
whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Orlando's biggest bar. You got to be super careful at the Epcot, y'all.
Yes, you do.
My husband's been sober 26 years, so it's good. But I can make it to Mexico and maybe Norway, and then I'm done. I'm done. I'm a lightweight, so.
Yeah, and the
It's a
food
lot
is
of fun.
good though. So if you're not going to drink, you might as well eat the food, right?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. But you got to be careful with those roller coasters, drinking and eating, and then going on a crazy roller coaster.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like the journey, maybe getting to the different destinations, isn't as glamorous as you might think. So do you have any sort of crazy stories, or what's the most odd thing that ever happened as you were trying to get somewhere, or when you got to a concert or something like that? Do you have any interesting, unique stories?
I have one. I've never told. I don't know if I've told you, but I've never told Neil, her husband. We call him Trout. So
Okay.
so this is hilarious. So you'll laugh now, and he might laugh now. So when Bruce obviously is from Champaign, and his mom and stepdad lived in Springfield, and there was a time when I think the band all stayed in Chicago. Our family commandeered our bus and went to his mom's lake house.
Okay.
So we stayed a couple days fishing, obviously, and Timmy was probably maybe 2.
Okay,
maybe
tiny.
2. Little
Tiny boy.
Timmy.
Mm-hmm.
So the bus got stuck in the mud.
Oh no.
And we had to catch a flight. Timmy and I had to catch a flight. And so it was like this crazy scenario. And I'm not kidding, it looked like the man looked 100 years old, came out in like tow truck and tried to get us out of the mud. We finally got unstuck, and then Bone, do you remember our bus driver, Bone? Bone drove 100 miles an hour to the airport. And Timmy was sleeping in Uncle Neil's bunk, and Timmy peed all over his mattress. And so we got Timmy out, and then we threw him in Dave's bunk.
Did he pee in Dave's?
He didn't pee. Unfortunately, he did not pee in Dave's. But so Bruce is like on the tour bus and flipping the mattress. I am pulling sheets off the other guy's bunks and redoing it. And so we were going to never speak of it.
We will never speak of it.
Tell me what you're most excited for about the show coming up.
Can I
go?
I've been with Neil for almost 20 years, but we met in 1999 when Alan and Gary had been out of the band for 10 years. So although I've been with the band for so long, I've never seen Alan Gratzer play the drums with his friends Bruce and Neil. And
the brothers.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see them up on the stage together as they began in the way like it was originally intended to be, and the chemistry among the three of them was immediately, you know, like when you say riding a bike or someone you haven't seen in 5 years and it doesn't matter, like
right.
I was overwhelmed, honestly. Almost immediately.
You were sobbing. The first song, because we went to rehearsal yesterday, and the first song that they started playing, I look over, and I'm usually the crazy emotional one, and I look over, and Darya is sobbing, and it was, you guys, it's to us. We've been through some things in the last couple of years, and
sure.
When I tell y'all that we are so blessed to be married to Bruce and Neil. They called them the Love Brothers. They're true blue to us. They're the most down-to-earth, magical guys. And they've been through the ringer the last couple of years. Especially Bruce has been back surgery and things.
Well, Neil retired a couple years ago. So this is like a return in more ways than one for him, you know? And so the anticipation of leading back up to Neil going back on stage, was very interesting. I don't even have a word for it or a description for it because it's just
magical.
It is magical. Yes. but Neil is a little nervous about it. It's been 2.5 years, right? No, December 22.
Yeah.
So it's been 2.5 years since he's been on stage. So he was like, I've got to learn these songs. I got to be ready to go, and it took 2 seconds. Like he was back in his element. And it just worked. And it was just a thing to behold to see those three playing together.
One of the things that was really neat for me, because I was there before, and this version, and then the version that we had right before Neil retired, and then Bruce's the last time, and Don't Let Him Go, they were playing this song. And Neil has an iconic keyboard solo in that, and everybody air keyboards during it. And when he finished, he goes, I don't think I've ever played that better. And I go, because it was in the right tempo, with the right beat.
In the right key.
In the right key. Like it was like, they are, you would never know these guys are in their 70s. It's
no kidding.
Insane. Alan Gratzer has not been on the stage in 37 years.
Yeah. And the guy's playing.
And singing. Guys, he had this microphone that came swinging in front of him, and he was just like, she doesn't like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He's singing a Doors song.
He's going to sing lead on a song. Like, what we're most excited about, obviously, is the sheer joy and happiness of watching our husbands that have done this. Neil, in 1967, started this band.
The month and year I was born.
Hello?
I say to him all the time, September 67 was such a good month for you.
Right.
That's right.
But he says we didn't date back then. We didn't date when I was born.
Well, oh, Lord.
Oh,
That'd be
Lord.
a whole different kind of story. Oh, dear.
That's
Oh, dear.
show. no.
Rock the Cradle of Love.
Yeah.
That's a different band, sorry.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that that's great. I mean, if rehearsal was that magical, I cannot even wait to see what is going to happen this weekend.
When the audience comes in and they bring the energy that they bring, because honestly, that is the secret sauce, right? Because you can rehearse all the time, but until I'm not even an artist, and I can feel it when I'm standing up there, you know, just like the anticipation and the excitement and the adoration and watching people sing their songs, and little kids. You know, like, this is a multi-generational band. Like, you can safely take your children to an REO Speedwagon show and not worry about what they're gonna see or what they're gonna hear. Right? So people do bring their kids and then grandkids and the next generation, and it's such an amazing experience to watch out into the audience and see people having such an incredible moment.
How about when they used to have their lighters and now they have their phones and they turn their lights on and it's Time for Me to Fly. So everybody, when Time for Me to Fly comes, put your phones up and we'll all do like a magical thing.
We'll all do it at the same time.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
I feel like I'm speaking Speedwagon a little bit, so I'm going to ask the question that everyone wants to know is, can you tell me anything about the drama?
What drama?
What drama?
There's been drama?
I have no idea.
What's happened?
You all live on a bus together and there's never any drama.
Girl, there's so much drama in the last 2 years you can't even imagine, and we've got to be very careful about how we address it. But and unfortunately, my husband needed back surgery for 2 years, and he finally had it scheduled, planned, necessary back surgery. He went out to have it, and another show came up, and they hired the bassist for Elton John to fill in for him for a show. And then chaos ensued, and a lot of things happened, and he was slated to come back, and Kevin, our lead singer, decided to quit and go solo. Things happen. We can't stop him from that. And so it was devastating. It was devastating for a lot of folks, especially the fans. I've never seen my husband depressed in my entire time, and her husband was in retirement. They own, so Neil, Bruce, and Kevin own the company REO Speedwagon. So that's it. There were some decisions that had to be made, and unfortunately Kevin decided to leave. And at the time, I'm like, why? How's this happening? It was devastating.
It was, terrible. Yeah. For Neil especially, because he named the band. He was an engineering student at the University of Illinois. When they were trying to figure out what to call the band, he went to his history of transportation class, and written on the chalkboard was REO Speedwagon, and their lesson that day was about the vehicle created by Ransom Eli Olds, who eventually founded the Oldsmobile company. And he went back and he's like, I got a great name for the band. It's going to be REO Speedwagon, and everybody loved it. And so, but for Neil to have, in a sense, birthed this band, and to be put in a position to have to make tough decisions about its future was very difficult for him. It was very difficult, but thank goodness.
Right. So lot of things happened, and I believe everything happens for a reason. And I searched and searched, and we got approached by the city of Champaign to do this amazing concert, and one of the caveats was Bruce and Neil said, well, we'll do it. We don't want to get paid as long as the money goes to the REO Speedwagon Fund at Moffitt Cancer Center. And it's the hospital that saved our son Tommy's life. He had testicular cancer when he was a teenager, and he, thank goodness, long story short, he had a testicle removed, his kidney, it spread to his kidney, he had 6 rounds of chemo, he was never supposed to be able to have kids. We banked his sperm. He's been cancer-free for 8 years now, thanks to the amazing Moffitt Cancer Center. And he actually, you'll see Penny, if you come to the Rock Show, our little granddaughter Penny, our miracle
Penny
baby.
Pie.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So, you know, Penny's here.
Amazing.
So Tommy's actually going to open the show, Moffitt Cancer Center, all the money goes there. So the merchandise money, none of the rock stars are getting paid. Every dime goes there. And we're so fortunate. So where I'm going with this is I feel that if Kevin hadn't gone solo, this maybe would have never been necessary to have. And if we save just one person's life by spreading awareness and talking about testicular cancer is the #1 cancer in young men 18 to 35.
And probably because they're afraid to talk about it.
Right.
Right?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Tell them how Tommy told you.
So Tommy he worked in the clubhouse in our neighborhood on Easter Sunday. He'd worked all day and he comes home and he's like, Mom, I got to show you something. And I never thought he was going to show me, that. And he had a lump on his testicle. And thank God Bruce was home because they were constantly on tour. And Bruce said, no, that's not right. That was Easter Sunday, and on Thursday it was removed. That's how fast and aggressive things were.
Yeah.
So Tommy he's a lot like me. He works at Disney now, and he's very open, and he talks to kids, he talks to men, he talks them through this cancer, and if they have it, and what the surgery's like, and that it's not the end of your life. And so he'll be there with the CEO of Moffitt, and we're just so grateful to the city of Champaign for giving us this opportunity, to spread awareness and to save somebody's life. And there's even T-shirts that says "Listen to the Halls and check your balls."
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, so
well, that's
magical.
Incredible, and I feel like your word is magical. It seems like that is such a magical reason for doing this, and thank you for sharing that, because I'm sure there's someone watching right now that probably is like, maybe I should go to the doctor.
And make sure that they got to tell somebody, right? And that's such an embarrassing and vulnerable thing for a young man to do, right? And so that's really the important part, is to just let young men know that it doesn't necessarily have to be their mom, but they need to tell somebody who can say something.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we have like 30 seconds left, so favorite REO Speedwagon song?
Born to Love You. It's about me.
Actually, gosh, it's hard to pick one, but my nickname in the band is Darla because of the song
Tough Guys.
Tough Guys, and because I don't like the tough guys. They called Neil Dr. Dowdy. He's the scientist. He loves all that kind of stuff. And so I'm Darla, he's Alfalfa, Tough Guys.
Perfect. Well, thank you both so much for being here and for everything that you shared with us. This was
really
a lot
fun.
of fun.
It was magical.
It was magical. Thank you so much. Well, ciLiving will be right back after this break, so don't go anywhere.